ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोर्श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 22, Canto 4, beginning from verse number 1. So this is story of Prithu Maharaj, who was a great king and also an avatar of the Lord. And we read in the previous chapter about his instructions to the people of his kingdom and how nicely he requested everyone to follow the principles of Shastra, follow their Swadharma and be devoted to the Lord. And this is what brings actually Vaikuntha on earth. If this is followed, then you don't have to go to Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha will come here. So this is the greatness of Bhagavatam, that it is speaking about the principles which are or the lifestyle which is practiced in the spiritual world. Because this is how people live in the spiritual world. So the same consciousness can be brought here on earth. One practices the principles described here. And these stories explain them, that how in the past kings they tried to inculcate these ideas in the mind of their subjects. So Maitreya is continuing to explain after this what happened, and in this chapter there is a description of Kumara's visiting Prithu Maharaj. Maitreya uvacha janeshu pragunatsvevam prithum pratula vikramam tatra upajagmur muniyas chatvara surya varshashaha. When Prithu Maharaj was being praised by the people in this manner, as we read in the last chapter, at that time the four great sages who were effulgent like the sun, they appeared there. So these are the four Kumaras who are looking like children, but they are the most learned people in the universe. Tanastu Siddheswaran Raja Vyomno Avatartorchisha Lokana Papan Kurvatya Sanugo Chastra Lakshitan. So at that time king and his servants, they saw and they recognized these great sages who were descending from the sky, because they were very effulgent and if making everyone free from the sin. So Lokan Apapan Kurvatya Sanugo Achasta Lakshitan. They became visible, and as if everybody got purified by their presence. So some people are so powerful that just by their aura they as if subdue the mind of other people. So this is the meaning that they are making them free from sins, because sin means to act frivolously, to not follow Shastra, that is called sin. So these Kumaras were so powerful that they just captivated everybody, and means nobody could even think of doing anything wrong in their presence. So this is how they descended from the sky. They are yogis, jnanis, everything, devotees. So they can travel in this space. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says that Dvavimse Paramam Jnanam Gyapyitva Tatha Param Sanat Kumara Prithave Shuddham Bhaktim Upadisha. In the 22nd chapter, there is a description that Sanat Kumara, the eldest of the four Kumara brothers, he gave the supreme transcendental knowledge and then instructed Prithu Maharaj about pure devotion. Pragrinatsu Stuvatsu, the word Pragrinatsu means while the people, they were still praising Prithu Maharaj. Prithau Swa Sadma Upavanam Gatecha iti Shesha. Prithu Maharaj has gone to the garden of his palace when it happened, it seems. Tathaiva Bhagavad-uktai, because Lord spoke like that. Archisha Lakshitan Sankadayati Gyapita. So the effulgent appearance, it indicated that the Sanakadis have come. Achasta Pashyata. Achasta means he saw them. So then it is described what he did when he saw them. Taddarsanodgatan pranan pratyadit surivotthitaha sasadasya anugobanya indraya sagunaniva. Just as the living entity runs after the sense objects, in the same way, as soon as the king saw the sages, as if his life air moved out of him, and to stop this life air from going out of his body, he stood up. So in the scriptures it is described that when some honorable, respectable, holy person, senior person comes, and if the junior person is sitting, then the junior person's life air goes out from the body, and therefore he should stand up, otherwise he loses his life air. So this is the reason that once some respectable person comes, then people stand up to give him honor. This is a custom. So we saw earlier that when Daksha came in the assembly, then everybody stood up except Lord Shiva. And of course it is Daksha who lost his life here in this particular case, not Shiva. So that showed that how everybody stood up to respect him, because he was honorable, and if they don't stand, then as if they are losing their life. So this is the reason that you stand up. So this idea behind is that respect should be given to respectable people by standing up to the idea. So abhyuthanam utprekshate. So this is called utpreksha alankar. There are various types of alankaras in Sanskrit poetry. Alankara means embellishments or way of describing things, that those things does not have to be taken literally. It's just the beauty of the poetry to speak like that. So like similes are there. So this is one of the alankara, figurative speeches. So he says this is basically the king, he stood up along with his servants to respect them. So here it is explained like in Utpreksha Alankar, a conjecture, like you make a guess why he stood up. Tesham darshanena darshan tejasa udgatan pranam praptum pratipraptum. It's like when they came, then by the aura of these sages, his life went out of his body. So to catch it, he stood up. Otherwise life here will run away. So that is that. Urdhvam prana hi utkramanti yuna sthavir ayati pratyuthana bhivadabhyam punastan pratipadyate iti smriti. There is a sloka he quotes, I think this is from Manusmriti, if I am not wrong, that if a senior person comes in the presence of the junior, then the life of the junior goes up from his head. So he should stand up and greet the senior person, then the life air settles back into his body. Abhyartan abhyuthanata ayukshayuktahi. So the meaning is that if you do not give respect to the respectable people, then you lose your life. So just as it is said that by giving respect to respectable, chatvari tasya vardhante ayubal sriya dhanam. That one's life, strength, wealth and power increases by paying respect to senior people. So in India it was custom previously that in the morning when you get up, then you pay respect to your parents, grandparents, senior people. Or if you meet senior people, then it was a custom in the past. And then they bless you. So if nothing else, they give some positive vibration. Because when you pay respect to them, you touch their feet, then they give you blessing. So even if it is a word, the word also has power in it. It gives good feelings, good thoughts. Recently, some people, they did an experiment that students were going from one classroom to another classroom, and they made them read paragraphs. They divided the class in two divisions, and they made them read two separate paragraphs. And in one paragraph there were negative statements, and in another one there were positive statements. And then they observed that those people who read the paragraph in which there were positive statements, they reached earlier to the other classroom than the one who read the paragraph in which there were negative statements. Although this had nothing to do with walking or anything, but created a negative energy or positive energy depending on what they are doing. So mind gets influenced by others' words or statements. Therefore this custom is there. Indriyesho jiva gunan gandhadim pratiti atsukya drishtanta. And then an example is given. Just like human beings, they are always attracted to the sense objects. Naturally, like that, the life here becomes attracted. Gaurvadintrita sabhya prashrayanata kandharaha vidhivat pujayan chakre grihita arghyanashanan. So then, being controlled or being influenced by the greatness of these four sages, the king, who was very well-mannered, he worshipped them with great humility and bowing down his head. When the sages, they have taken their seat and accepted arghya. So there was this system in the Vedic culture. Somebody came and he washed his feet, given padya, arghya, achmani, and then you do the arati. This was the Vedic way to receive and offer flowers, fragrant objects. So the person is pleased and then ask about welfare, then something to eat. So the king also, he gave them the seat and then offered them arghya, padya, etc. and then worshipped them properly as per the custom, which means offering incense, ghee lamp, and some flowers.
What's the meaning of the arghya exactly? Just to create auspiciousness, or
Yeah.
is it just that mix of different things sprinkled on someone's head?
Yes, just the auspicious things. So yantritaha sankuchita kaika vachika vritti. So here the word gaurava, the yantrita, means that the effulgence, the greatness of these sages was so great that the Prithu Maharaji felt little constrained in himself, like little bit of awe and reverence for them. And the people were glorifying him, and he is very great, but he himself felt great reverence and humbled in their presence. Tatpad shauch salilay marjita alakabandhana tatra shilavatam vrittam acharan manayanniva hatakasan asinan swadashunnesu pavakan Shraddha Sanyam Sanyukta Prita Praha Bhavagrajam. So these sages, after he has worshipped them, then what he did, that he took the water from his feet, their feet, as he washed their feet, and then he sprinkled it on his head. And in this way he showed what is the proper etiquette, and also as if he was teaching others that they should know this, that how saintly people have to be received. And then the sages, who are the elder brother of Shiva, because Kumaras were the first sons of Brahma. They were the first four who were born from Lord Brahma, and then Lord Shiva was born after them. Because when Kumaras were born and Lord Brahma asked them that they should procreate, and the Kumaras humbly refused, that we do not want to get into this entanglement of family life. And then Brahma was little upset, and in that upset mood Lord Shiva appeared from his forehead. So therefore they are called here as Bhavagrajam, means those who were born before Bhava, Shiva. So they sat on beautiful thrones made of gold and appeared as if they were fire personified. So they were so effulgent. Then King Prithu, with Shraddha and Sanyam, with great respect, honor and control of mind and senses, in a very affectionate manner, he spoke as follows. Shilvatam vrittam iti silvadbhir evam vartitavyam iti swayam acharan manyaneva managyan. So he showed the proper behavior of a cultured person. And not that he did it just for showing, but he himself is a very well-behaved and cultured person, but it also showed to others that this is how you have to receive great. So then he speaks to them. Prithuruvacha, Prithu said, Aho acharitam kinme mangalam mangalayanaha yasya vo darshanam hi asi durdarshanacha yogidhi. So he said that, indeed, what is that great piety I have done, that I have attained darshan of great sages like you, who are very difficult even to be seen by the great yogis, you who are personification of all auspiciousness. So these sages, they are called here as Mangalayatana, or who are auspiciousness personified. So auspiciousness means proper behavior. Lord himself is called Mangalam, Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu, Mangalam Garudadhraja, Mangalam Pundrikaksha, Mangalayatano Hare. So Lord is called Mangala, or who is embodiment of auspiciousness. And these sages are also called here as Mangala. So Mangala means when everything favorable happens, nothing unfavorable happens, that is called auspiciousness. So he said, what is this wonderful thing that you have come here? The very auspiciousness has appeared, and I am so fortunate. I don't know what I have done to deserve this. Because even great yogis cannot see Kumaras, they are not living on this earth. They are mostly in the higher planetary system beyond even heavenly planets. किम तस्य दुर्लभतरम इह लोके परत्र च यस्य विप्राः प्रसीदन्ति शिवो विष्णुश्च सानुगाः. He says that what is unattainable for a person in this world or in the next after death, on whom Brahmanas, their servants, or Lord Vishnu or Lord Shiva and their devotees are pleased. Which means if Lord is pleased, devotees are pleased, or Brahmanas are pleased, then there is nothing which cannot be achieved by such a person. So this is, he says, is the most rare thing, to have such a grace, because these sages, like the Kumaras, they are completely Atmaran, they are the Atmarans, self-satisfied, like Sukhdev Goswami. So there is nothing which interests them. They come by their own will. There was no reason for them to appear here, but by their own will. Of course, Lord Himself predicted this. So ultimately they have come by the will of the Lord, which is supreme. So there are also devotees, although they are famous as Gyanis and the original teachers of Gyan Marga, but ultimately they are also devotees, and it is by the will of the Lord that they have appeared. Lord wanted that they come and give instructions on Bhakti to Pruthi Maharaj. नैव लक्षयते लोको लोकान् पर्यटतोऽपि यान् यथा सर्वदृशं सर्व आत्मानं येस्य हेतवः. He says that although these great sages, they are traveling to various planets, but they are not visible. People don't see them. Just as the causal elements of this universe, like Mahatattva and Pradhan, they cannot see the soul. And the soul is present in them. So soul is present in the body, and soul is the witness of all the activities. And soul, Atma here could also mean Paramatma. So they cannot see this. In the same way the Kumaras, they are travelling everywhere, yet they are not to be seen.
You say that Mahat and Pradhan? Mahat and Pradhan? They cannot see the soul.
This is matter.
This is matter. But these two things are also inert.
Yeah, that's why he's saying that just as they cannot see the Lord, in the same way people don't see them. Or it means, Mahat means the great personalities like Brahma. You cannot see the Supreme Lord. Naiv lakshate loko lokan paryatatopiyan yatha sarvadisho sarvam atmanam yasya heta. So they cannot see the Lord, although they are the Hetu or the creator of this universe. Okay, the word used is Hetu, which means cause. Cause of the universe is Pradhan also, and also Brahma is creating, so you can take both. Durdarshatva Maha, why they are very difficult to see, it is described here. Naiv lakshate na pashyati yatha sarvadrisham sarvdarshinam atmanam sarvopi loko na pashyati. Just as soul is not seen by anybody, in the same way. Lokasya ka varta yasya jagato hetavo brahma marichi pravrityate na pashyati. So to speak of people in general, even those who are the creators of the universe like Brahma, Marichi, etc., they also don't see the Lord. Only He is the cause of everything. Adhanapi te dhanya sadho griha medina yadagriha hi arhavarya amnutrana bhumi swaravaraha. Even if one is a poor person, adhana, such a person is fortunate in whose house people like you appear and accept service in the form of water and a seat to sit down in the earth and the service of the owner or the servants. So such people, they may be poor, but still they are very opulent because you have accepted their service. So in the Smriti Shastra, which gives etiquette of behavior, it said that if somebody comes into the house, then at least 4 things can be offered to him. You can give him water, a place to sit, and nice words, and a seat. So Jalatruna Sthana. So this is available with everybody. So that's why he's not mentioning anything great. He said Jala, Trina. Jala means water, Trina is, you make like this asana from kusa grass, is considered as very pure. And Prithvi means earth, place. And nice words, please that person, Griha Swami. And then if there are people around him, then they can all serve them. So he says this is actually the real opulence. Some people are having wealth, they have a lot of money, but they don't have the opportunity to receive such people in their house. So they are not really rich, because their wealth is only cause of bondage to them. Yesham sadhunam grihaha arhaha arhanam pujya jananam varya varniya svikararha ambavadeyo yeshu. So he says in the house of those people where such honorable people like Kumaras, they accept things such as water, bhaksha dravya bhave. If there is nothing else to give for eating, then at least water. And panartham bambucha tadabhave sayyartham trinanicha. And if water is not there, then at least give him some place to sit down or lie down if he is tired. Tadabhave asanartham pariskriyamana bhumischa. And if you don't even have a cot to lie down, then give him a small place to sit down. Tadabhave priti vag jalya artham ishvaro griha swamija. And if that is also not available, then at least give some sweet words in folded hands. And by the owner of the house. And if that is also not available, then because maybe the owner is also not there, then the servants, what they have to do? Avarascha sasru pranipatadi artha tatputra kalatrades. Then they should pay obeisances to the person. If they are servants or if they are wife and children, then with tears in their eyes, they should fall at his feet that we are not able to give you anything. So he says that such people, they are very fortunate, they are wealthy, not the ones who actually have wealth and don't receive. Vyalalaya druma vaite api aritta khil sampadaha yad grihasthirtha padiya padatirtha vivarjitaha. On the other hand, if someone has lot of wealth, Arikta Sampada means plenty of wealth is there, but no person comes to the house of such a Tirtha Padiya Padatirtha means that the water which has washed the feet of such respectable people does not purify their house. And he said that the house of such people are like the tree on which snakes live. The other day there was a snake outside my room on this tree, very nicely moving on the tree. So in the house it's just like the tree with a snake on it. Vyalalaya Vriksha Drum, which means that there is no auspiciousness, there is only poison. All around, all this wealth is the cause of bondage, death and birth in the material world. And the sage comes and purifies the place, and then one becomes uplifted from the material world. Vyal tulyanam katuvag varshinam putra kalatradinam alaya yeshu. So he said that Vyala snake here means the children and wife who are like snakes because they are always talking harshly. But if no sadhus are visiting the house, then all these family members, they are like snakes, only spitting poison through their words, all the time causing distress to the owner of the house. No sweet words. Api yesham grihastirtha padiyanam vaishnavanam padatirtheni padaksharanodheni. Who worships people? He says, tad grihastha yesham chaya api kairapi bhitya naspeshyate. He says that just like if there is a tree on which snake is living, then people fear to go and sit in the shade of such a tree. So he says like that, nobody likes to visit such a house because nobody is received properly in such a house. So everybody avoids. And adikta purna akhil sampado yesam. Although there may be a lot of wealth in this house, but this house is impure because it is not purified by the water which has washed the feet of the Vaishnava. So no one is happy to visit such a house. Swagatam vo dija shrestha yadvratani mumukshavah charanti sadhaya dhira balayeva bihanti cha. Says that, O Dvijashrestha, O best of the learned Brahmanas, I welcome you all to this place, and you are the one who are following the path of Brahmacharya, which is called Brihadvrata, or a great vow, from your very childhood, and that is the path which is followed by mumukshus, or those who are desiring liberation. So as we know that Kumaras, they did not marry, although Lord Brahma wanted them to marry. They remained brahmachari all their whole life, and they don't grow physically also. So then there is no question of any desire for sexual union. So they are therefore brahmacharis. which is called here as Brihad Vrata or Brihantani Vratani, means the great one. So those who follow the path of moksha, the path of Jnana, they are supposed to be renounced from family life. So this is the path which they have followed. Yes, yad yasmad brihanti vratani brahmacharyam. Mumukshavaha shraddhya charanti. The mumukshus, they follow this path with faith. Bhavantastu bala eva mukta eva iti brahmacharyam kashtam mumuksha kashtam cha na janati. He says that you are following this right from your childhood, and therefore you are already liberated. Not that you need to get liberation. And you really speaking do not know the austerities of brahmacharya life, nor the austerities of mumukshus or those who want to attain liberation. Because mumukshus, brahmacharis, they have to lead an austere life, not life of opulence and enjoyment. So it says, but in your case you are actually born as liberated, so there is no experience for you of undergoing any suffering. Kachinna kusulam natha indriyarthartha vedinam Vyasanavape tasmin patitanam swakarmihi. So now the interesting thing is that he's not asking if you are well. He's not, usually somebody comes, you ask for his welfare, how is your health, how are you doing? He's not asking that. So because it is futile to ask any welfare of these people, because nothing wrong happens to them. Therefore he is asking about himself. He says, how we will be happy? How can we have welfare? Kachinna kuslanatha. Why? Indriyarthartha vedinam. Because we are always interested in the sense objects. We are only deeply involved in sense objects. And vyasanavape etasme patitanam swakarma. We have attachment to these and we have fallen down because of our own karma. We are basically deeply entrenched in this material world and considering the sense enjoyment only as the goal of life. So how can we get welfare? This is his question. So he says, Indriyartha visha sukham eva Purushartham janatam asmakam vyasnani upyante yasmin tasmin samsara. Says that we think that this happiness which comes from sense enjoyment, this is actually the goal of life, and therefore by our own karma we are sowing the seed for suffering. Vyasana avapa, which means we have attained the vyasana, or we are putting the seed for the sense enjoyment, for suffering in this material world by our own karma. So what will bring auspiciousness to us? Bhavat su kushla prasna atmanamesu naisyate kusala kusla yatra na santi mati vrittaya. He says there is no question of asking you about your welfare because you are Atmaram. You are completely perfect, liberated, self-satisfied. and you don't even have this idea of what is welfare and what is not welfare, what is happiness and what is suffering, because you are beyond that. So therefore there is no point in asking you. Nanu abhyagatan प्रतिकुशल प्रश्नस्तेषामेव क्रियते न तो आत्मने इतिहा भवत्स्विति. So if someone asks this question that why Prithu Maharaj is not posing a question to them about their happiness, about their health, their welfare, which is a general etiquette, and starts talking about himself. So then Maitreya speaks this verse. तेन अभ्यागते सुकुशल प्रश्नस्य आवश्यक अनावश्यकत्वात् युष्मत् संबंधी कुशल प्रश्नस्य अनौचित्यात् स्वसंबंधी एव कुशलम प्रश्न. It says it is actually improper to ask them, as if there is a possibility that they can be sad, or they can be sick, or unhappy, or in some trouble. There is no such possibility for them. Therefore, it is futile to even pose such a question. Even out of etiquette, there is no need. So therefore, he did not ask, rather he asked about his own welfare. Tadaham krita vishrambha swahido vastapasvinam sampritshe bhave tasmin ksheme kenanyasa bhavet. So he says that with great faith, with great respect, and considering you as my benefactor, I am asking this question to you, that how will I be delivered from this samsara, this material world in which I am completely drowning. Kincha yusmad agamanam asmad uddhar prayojanakam eva buddhati. Says, moreover, your appearance here is to be understood to bring welfare for us. Tasmad atma kusla prashna eva mam samprati yujyati. Therefore, indeed, it is appropriate for me to ask for my welfare only. And therefore, he asked this question, that how will I attain welfare from this material world? So kshema here is welfare in the sense of moksha, and anjasa means without much difficulty. By simple means how can I get rid of it? So although earlier he has asked, when the Lord asked Prithu Maharaj, what do you want? And he says, na kamiya na tadapi ham kachit, that I don't want anything. Can son give me 10,000 years? But now he is asking for moksha. So it seems as if Lord is inspiring him to ask this so that the Kumaras can give instructions. Otherwise, the person who did not ask anything to the Lord, why is he going to ask now? Means for moksha from the Kumaras. So this is asking for others, or asking a question so that Kumaras can actually give instructions which everyone will listen to. Not that Prithu had any interest in it, because that was already known, but he was not interested in it. Vyaktam atmavatam Bhagavan atma bhavanah swanam anugrahenam siddharupi charatyaja. He says that Lord who is unborn, to give blessing to his people, he wanders this earth in the form of devotees like. you are perfected in. Lord personally is not visible, but he manifests himself in the form of his devotees. Vyaktam Siddharupi Charati Aja. He is unborn and he is Atam Bhavana. He is self-sufficient. So it is Lord who comes himself in the form of his devotees. That is the meaning of Siddharupi, means taking form like the Kumaras. So this is his question, and also at the same time he is glorifying it. Bhavantu khalu madishta devo bhagavan narayana evatyaham janam. He says that you are actually Lord Narayana himself, who is my versifical deity. I know this very well. You are not different from him. Tadaham iti kshena Atma swameva sevatvena vartate yesam te atmavanto bhakta tesam atma. So Lord is called here as Atmavatam Atma, means he is the soul of the devotees. He is the very life of the devotees, which means he is the object of their love. Priti Vishabhut Swanam Sweshanam Swesham Bhaktanam Atmanam Bhaveti Prakasheti. And he is called here as Atma Bhavana because he is the one who manifests the glories of his devotees on this earth. That's why he arranged things like that. With sacrifice, Indra creating trouble. So Prithu's glory became manifest that way. So that's the meaning of the word Atma Bhavana he is giving. So this is how Prithu he spoke to the Kumaras. And now the Kumaras will give the instructions. That we do tomorrow. Any questions?
Yeah, just a little side point. I found it very interesting that Peter says what is unattainable by one with whom the holy men or the Brahmins, devotees, as well as Shiva and Vishnu with their followers are pleased. So that he mentions Shiva and his followers and Vishnu and his followers.
Yes.
What is actually implied in this? Why doesn't he just say Vishnu?
That is an interesting thing. He should have said Vishnu and Shiva, because Shiva is a Vaishnava. So sometimes people have some kind of enmity towards Shiva. And we read in case of Daksha. And to be inimical towards Shiva is actually, in fact, that is the first offense in anything. So to make us aware of this fact, that we should not be inimical towards Shiva. Otherwise Lord Vishnu is not pleased because the holy name is not pleased. So he specifically mentions Shiva.
So that implies that the true Vaishnava should always be careful to respect Shiva and please him.
I mean, we respect Vaishnavas, but especially Lord Shiva, given special honor. Any other questions?
About this influence on the mind, how the power of these people, they were absorbed into the law, that they just by their presence, the mind.
Yeah, because mind is only a material machine. Can become influenced. It's like there is a mobile here and telephone call comes, then the whole computer starts shaking. Right? So it's because it works with waves. So it becomes influenced by the waves of another instrument. So mind is also just having the thoughts are waves. So it also becomes influenced by the waves of another person's mind.
And
If they are powerful waves.
So nobody could really speak to do something in that way.
It is said that when Lord Buddha was on earth, when he was walking, then people within the area of, I think, 10 kilometers or 100 kilometers will become influenced by his aura. Wherever he went.
This question may sound kind of strange or funny, Babaji. Let's say I had a desire to see, I wanted to see the Lord face to face. That could never happen, really, because of the fact that I'm not pure enough. Krishna, I don't know what I would have to do in order for him to appear as he really is. But to even think or to want something like that to happen is like insanity, right?
Yeah, the question is about seeing the Lord personally for us. It needs, because Lord can be seen only when you have love for Him. So one has to become siddha actually.
So if I'm madly in love with the Lord, there's a chance that He might reveal Himself.
Chance is there. But that's the qualification.
And about this effulgence that this Kumara they had so shining and like...
No, it's not that there was a fire coming out, just to show that they look beautiful.
Okay. Extraordinary.
Everything has to be taken a little bit in a poetic manner.
I just find the situation very interesting because in regards to Indra, preacher wasn't very, respectful. He wasn't very impressed with Indra, rather he was angry with him. So and here with the Kumaras, who appear like boys, he is awestruck. He's shaking in his boots. So there's like a gulf of a difference between between Indra and the Kumaras as personalities.
Yeah, Indra is also effulgent. He's a deva, all devas are effulgent. But their effulgence is not spiritual like the effulgence of Kumaras. Kumaras are spiritual people, they are realized people. They are free from any material desire. They are totally absorbed in the meditation on the Lord. And Indra is different. So although Indra is also a very powerful person, very beautiful, but Kumara's beauty is different. It's spiritual beauty.
So could you say that Indra's Shakti is material?
Yeah, Shakti is material, therefore he is, after some time he is removed from that post. His place is not permanent, but Kumara is a permanent element. It's not that they have some position and this will be taken away from them.
They are eternally
Eternally.
Is there any significance to the fact that since they were the firstborn to Brahma, that they refused to become Prajapatis?
Yeah, this is to show that the purpose of human life is not just procreation, not self-realization. So they set that standard right from the very beginning.
That's the... So that, but then, of course, Brahma is supposed to create, so he wasn't...
Yeah, but Brahma was also not overly angry with them. He was only because he is doing something and they are not cooperating. But he also understands that their purpose is higher. And so he is not upset. He obviously got anger because it was an obstruction to his plan. But he was not offended. Otherwise he could have cursed them. Okay,
So the determination not to enter householder life, but instead, utilize your life for spiritual goals, is not going against Dharma.
no.
So then all your obligation towards Dharma are excused by this higher purpose.
Yeah. Even in Niti it is said that Tajayadekam kulasyarthe kulam brahmasyarthe tajat brahman tajat rashtrarthe atmarthe prithvim tajat. That you can give up one family member to protect the family. You can sacrifice one family to protect the village. You can sacrifice village to protect the country. But to protect yourself, you can sacrifice the whole planet. So protecting yourself means spiritual realization. Otherwise, what is the protection?